Good day, everyone. I am Jerry A. Pariscal, your teacher for the day, and I will be teaching you about the number recording of the Egyptians and the Greeks. So, it is under the BSEDMATH1 History of Mathematics. After this class, you should be able to understand the importance of the numeration system or the number recording of the Egyptians and the Greeks. And also, you should be able to illustrate their way of adding their numbers in Egyptians and in Greeks. So we shall start our discussion of the numeration systems of the Egyptians and the Greeks, because we all know that mathematics that we know today sprang from this civilization. So, the one of the Greek inventions was a writing of history, and thus Herodotus was among the early Greek historian, who was honored as the father of history. And Herodotus considered Egypt as an acquired country. He said that Egypt is the gift of the river. Or later, it was paraphrased to read as the Egypt is the gift of the Nile. But, the Nile is the gift of Egypt. Why? Because the Nile gives them like a support, resources, so that they live and what they have today. Now, the unification of Egypt under a single leader led to the importance of a census, imposed taxes, maintained army, and so forth, which required reckoning with relatively very large numbers. A proof of this development was the maze head of King Narmer. So the Egyptians had a fully developed number system that would allow counting to continue indefinitely with only the introduction from time to time of a new symbol. This is borne out by the mace head of King Narmer, one of the most remarkable relics of the ancient world, now in the museum at Oxford University. So, near the beginning of the dynastic age, Narmer was obliged to punish the rebellious Libyans in the western delta. He left in the temple of Hierakonpolis a magnificent slate palette, the famous Narmer palette, and a ceremonial mace head, both of which bear scenes testifying to his victory. The mace head preserves forever of official record of the king's accomplishment, for the inscription boasts of taking off 120,000 prisoners and a register of captive animals, 400,000 oxen and 1,422,000 goats. So that's the King Narmer's achievements. Then, and another example of the recording of a very large numbers at an early stage occurs in the Book of the Dead. So, a collection of religious and magical texts whose principal aim was to secure for the deceased a satisfactory afterlife. So, the Egyptians' government and administration under pharaohs emerged in the first two dynasties. This wouldn't have been possible without a method of writing. So, this writing is called hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphic system of writing is a picture script in which each character represents a concrete object, the significance of which may still be recognizable in many cases. The Egyptians needed an easily available and inexpensive material to write on. Thus, they invented the papyrus. The papyrus was made by cutting thin lengthwise strips of the stem of the reed-like papyrus plant, which was abundant in the Nile Delta marshes. So, these papyrus plants just grows in the Nile Delta marshes. So, they are abundant with these plants. The sections were placed side by side on a board or so to form a sheet, and another layer was added at right angles to the first. When these were all soaked in water, pounded with a mallet, and allowed to dry in the sun, the natural gum of the plant glued on the section together. So, the writing surface was then scraped smooth with a shell until a finished sheet, usually 10 to 18 inches wide, so that thick, resembled coarse brown paper. By pasting these sheets together along overlapping edges, the Egyptians could produce strips up to 100 feet long, which were rolled up when not in use. They wrote with a brush-like pen and ink made of colored earth or charcoal that was mixed with gum or water. Due to the exceedingly dry climate of the Egypt, which prevented mold and mildew, hence the durability of the papyrus or papyri, a sizable body of scrolls has been preserved. So because of this papyrus plant, the writings or the recordings were preserved with their papyrus or the invention of paper. So they invented the paper. Paper started from them. Because of the invention of the papyrus by the Egyptians, the writing method of the Egyptians was simplified. The Egyptian priest made a, or let's say developed a more rapid and less pictorial style that was adapted to pen and ink. It is called the hieratic sacred script, wherein symbols were written in a cursive or free-running hand. Later on, the writing of hieratic scripts became too slow for the people. So, another way of writing was then developed, which is the demotic script, or the, let's say it is the popular script that arose, which consists of row upon row or of agitated commas, each representing a totally different sign. So, that is how the Egyptians do their addition. If you have a 3 1 and plus or added by 7 1, then it will become 10 or that symbol. And if you have 30 added to 70, it will become 100. So that is the symbol of a 100. Now, let's say you have 1267 as a sample number. So let's convert it into the Egyptian symbols. So let's break them. 1260 and 7. So their equal symbols are 1000 is a lotus. Now the 100 is like this. So we have 200. Now the 60 is the curved lines, or it's like a horseshoe. 60, so 6 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7 of this. 7. So if we combine this all, it will become like this. 1200 60 7. So it's like that. 1267 is equal to that symbol, 1267. So let's add this number. Normally, we'll have 0, 1, 8, 7. So 780. That's the answer of 328 plus 452. But if we will write it in a Egyptian symbols, 300, so 3 of these, 2 of these, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, that's correct. Plus 400, 4 of these. 52, 5 of these. 3, 4, 5. Then 2. So, let's do this. 2 plus 8. So, it's 10, right? So, it will become a symbol like this. So, it's 1. Because it's 8 plus 2, 10. 5 plus 2, or let's say 20 plus 50. 70. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct? That's 7. And 3 plus 4 equals, let's say 300 plus 400 is equal to 700. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, the answer is this. 780. So, that's how you add in Egyptian numbers. So, that's all for today. Goodbye, class. Again, I am Jerry A. Pariscal. Thank you for listening.